What about artifacts? You know, technology requires interpretation. The biggest challenge in EEG are artifacts. So not every wave we see on EEG comes from the brain. Artifacts are signals that come from any source other than your brain. So things like muscle movement, eye movement, chewing, sweating, any kind of patient movement, loose electrodes, electrical interference, those are all artifacts. And one of the most important skills is learning to recognize artifacts so you don't mistake it as being abnormal brain activity. In other words, before we diagnose, we have to make sure we're actually looking at the brain. So here is an example of muscle artifacts. So remember that muscles also generate electrical activity. And since brain waves, they don't, have such high voltage electrical activity, you're also picking up other electrical activity coming from elsewhere. So this is an example of muscle artifacts. If a patient clenches their jaw, if they tighten their head, or even if they tense their neck, we will have these electrical signals that kind of overwhelm the smaller brain signals. And it appears as this fast, irregular, nasty waves. And so it especially appears in like the frontal and the temporal chains if you look at the names of the electrodes that it's appearing in. So this patient is probably tensing their forehead. Now this is really scary. This is an example